Today we are doing math page 51 and 52. Division with a money dividend. 1 Corinthians 16:14 says, "Let all that you do be done in love." So we're going to go ahead and get started at 1A. And it talks about it in the yellow box at the top. Whenever you have money, whenever you're dividing with money, you just bring the decimal point straight up into the quotient area, into the answer area. And we'll show you that with D and E as I use money here. But let's start with A and B, and this is just review of dividing and checking. We're going to use our regular dad, mom, sister, brother, and rover steps of divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat or remainder. 1A, 6 does not go into 1, so I'm going to put an X there. 6 does go into 17. Goes in 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract and we get 5. Bring down the 5. 6 goes into 55 9 times. 6 times 9 is 54. Subtract, we get 1. So our answer is 29, remainder 1, but we got to check it first before we circle that. Let's make sure that's the right answer. So we're going to take our 29, multiply it by 6, and then add our remainder of 1. 29 times 6. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. Now we need to add our remainder, which was 1. We get 175. And that's the same thing as what we have there, so it checks. That is correct. And our answer is 29, remainder 1. In B, I'm going to slow down the steps a little bit as we're reviewing this. B, our dad step. First we're dividing. Now 4 does not go into 3. So I put an X there. 4 divided into 39. 4 times 9 is the closest we can get. So 4 goes into 39 9 times. Now we do the mom step of multiplying. 4 times 9 is 36. Now it's the sister step of subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now it's the brother step of bring down. 2. Now it's rover of repeat the steps, or we write it as a remainder. Here we have to repeat the steps. So we go back to dad. Is divide. 4 goes into 32. We're going to go 8 times. Now we do mom step of 4 times 8 is 32. Sister step of subtract, 0. Brother step would be bring down. There's nothing to bring down. Rover would be repeat or remainder. There's not going to be a remainder. And we don't write R0 at the top. We just leave it as 98. Let's go ahead and check this. 98 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. Plus 3 more would be 39. Now, it looks like I messed up. Oh, 4 times 8, I said was 32, and I put a 3 there, so this should be a 2. And it does check. Notice, though, when something's wrong like that, you got to see what you did wrong and figure out the problem. I was just testing you guys. So our answer is 98. Okay, we're going to have you do C on your own, but first we're going to do D together. And now we're using money in our division problem. And the only thing that will be different here is you need to write your dollar sign up there. And you need to bring your decimal point up to right there. And now you do everything else same. 4 does not go into 2. So we would normally put an X there. I'm going to ask when it's dollar amounts. Let's just put a 0. 4 goes into 23 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract. You get 3. Bring the 6 down. 4 goes into 36 9 times. 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract, and we get 0. Checking our answer, 59 times 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3, 23. And that's the same, so it does check. Okay, E. I'm going to bring the dollar sign up. Bring the decimal up. 3 does not go into 1. Instead of an X, we're going to put a 0 there. 3 does go into 16 5 times. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Our answer is 54 cents. And we'll check that. I'm going to check it up here because I ran out of room. 54 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1, 16. And so that checks. Okay, we're going to look at the story problem. It says Mr. Clark paid $92.60 to rent a sailboat for 5 hours. At that rate, what was the cost per hour? So it cost $5 to rent it. Back up. It costs $92.60 to rent it for 5 hours. It's asking, well, what if you wanted it just for 1 hour? At that rate, what would it be? To figure that out, we're going to divide our dollar amount, $92.60. We're going to divide it by 5. So we'll bring our dollar sign up and we'll bring our decimal point up. 5 goes into 9 one time. 5 times 1 is 5, so we're going to subtract that. We get 4, bring down the 2. 5 goes into 42 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to run out of room here. Subtract. Get 2, you bring down the 6. I'm going to have you guys do the rest on your own for A, at least, for the rest of this problem. It's going to be $18 and something. You have to do the rest of it to figure it out because I ran out of room. So do that in a second. On our next problem, it says Billy bought 4 yards of lumber and Jack bought 6 feet of lumber. How many more yards did Billy buy than Jack? Well, let's change it all into yards. Now, Billy, I'll put a B, and I'll say he got 4 yards. And Jack, I'll put a J. Now, if we're changing it to yards, 6 feet, every 3 feet is 1 yard. So he got 2 yards. And then the question is, how many more yards did Billy buy than Jack? And our answer is going to be 2 yards. Okay, you're going to do the rest on your own. When you finish, I want you to study this map I have up here of Europe. This is the continent of Europe with the different countries that are inside Europe. I want you to study it so that later, when I put a map like this up, you'll be able to tell where some of those countries are. And if you don't know the countries, start small. Okay, so on this side we got Portugal, and then Spain, and then France. Start maybe on one section, or maybe you want to start up here, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Figure out an area to start with, and start learning the countries in that area. Go ahead and do the rest of the math on your own. And if you finish early, start studying this map that we have up here.